Hey guys, Resident Lynx here, and welcome to my video. I really appreciate you guys looking and watching these videos. Please leave a like if you like this video. Also, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it. And today I have my mic, so you can actually hear me better. I noticed that my last video was not that good, and I noticed that I didn't speak clearly, and I apologize. And I do apologize if I end up messing up my words in this. I don't mean to. I'm not used to speaking to a camera, so it's a little bit hard for me. And also, I'm trying to look at the camera more than I usually do. But this video is my top 5 favorite actors, and majority of them are comedians, because I'm not really one for serious. I like action sometimes, yes, and also like scary movies sometimes, but it varies. So this is my top 5 favorite actors, and it's my number 5 is Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is an awesome comedian. I loved him in Beverly Hills Cop, which is my favorite franchise with him. I loved him in Dr. Dolittle. I think that was an awesome movie, and I refuse to see the Robert Downey Jr. one, even though I don't really mind Robert Downey Jr. I actually love him as Iron Man, and I actually seen other movies with him other than that. But I don't want to see that because I don't want to tarnish my love for Eddie Murphy's movies. And I think that the first and second one of the original, well, not the original, because I know there was other ones before that, but the original movies, Dr. Dolittle ones, I think they were freaking cool. Really good movies. I love his comedic style. I love a lot of things about him. I like that he does a lot of comedy, stand-up comedy. I like how he's just a really fucking good actor, and I loved how he was on SNL, and I like how he started to get his footing on SNL or Saturday Night Live. If you guys didn't know, that actually majority of these people, not majority, but maybe a couple of these people have gotten a little bit of their beginnings on SNL, but not all of these guys on this list. But Eddie Murphy, I loved him in the Mulan movie. I loved him as what's that little guy's name? I can't remember his name. I want to say Shenmue, but obviously it's not Shenmue. I'm sorry that I forgot his name. I should do some more research. But he's a really awesome actor. And let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is Robin Williams. Robin Williams is my 4th pick. I have to pay respects to Robin Williams because he's one of the greats. Love so many of his movies that he has played in. I can't pick just one movie. He has so many. I love Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, RV, Patch Adams, and Flubber, Jack, and more. Which, actually, Flubber, I watched that when it first came out, and I was a real young kid, and I remember having a little bit of a toy from Flubber, and I actually didn't mind that movie, but people do. People don't really like that movie at all. RV, I remember seeing that back in 2006, I think it was, when it first came out. I can't remember, but I liked how he was like to play the father figure, and he had to take a road trip, and he gets covered in shit. You guys gotta check that out. That's a really good movie. Patch Adams, he plays a clown, and he tries to make kids laugh, and because they have I think they have cancer. And it's been so long since I've seen that one. So I'm gonna do a quick synopsis on some of these. Jack, he plays a young kid in a grown man's body, because when he was born, he had this deformity, this thing where he grows in rapid rate, and but he's just anything you put Robin Williams in, he knocks it right out of the park. I loved him in Mrs. Doubtfire. I remember seeing that when I was a kid. Loved him in the original Jumanji, which I'm actually kind of pissed that they made sequels with The Rock. Of course they did. I mean, as soon as Robin Williams died, they made sequels of Jumanji, and then they made sequels of Aladdin. So, well, live-action versions, I should say. Well, there was a sequel to Jumanji, but they do pay respects to him from the original to the sequel version. But it's still, as soon as he dies, you have to do that to him. I mean, really? I didn't mind the movies. I seen both of them in theaters, but come on, please pay your respects to people that have passed away. And I grew up with him. I grew up with Robin Williams. I grew up with all of his movies. I grew up with loving his comedy style. I love the way he can change his voice when he does some acting. I love his stand-ups comedies, specials. I love so much things that he has done. And he can never be replaced. And I want to pay respects to him. He's one of the greats. As for the next guy, it's number 3. As you can tell, I love comedies, but trust me, the number 1 pick that will come later on is not just a comedy person, but the next guy is comedy, and his name is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, now, I have seen almost all of his movies. Almost. I think a couple of them I haven't seen. Even the ones I didn't really want to watch, I've seen. Except for, actually, I didn't see one. I didn't see 23, I think it was. But other than that, I've seen him in The Grinch. I loved how he developed into this character. And I heard a story. I heard a story about one of the backstage things. He was meant... You know that scene where he pulls down pulls this sheet for you know how the table's set up in the movie. He pulls it, and all that stuff was supposed to knock down because you have to be professional, really, to not knock those things down. You know what I mean? You have to do it multiple takes in order for in order for the things on top of the table not to fall. But he's never done it in his life. The first take he did was he pulled it right out, and none of it fell. But he goes back, he runs back, and he smashes everything anyway. But Jim Carrey, I love him in In Living Color. That was really a show. I didn't think later on the skits were really good, but he was like not the only white character, but he was the only male white character, and I think he knocked out of the park. I think he did better than majority of the people on that show. No offense to any of the Wayans brothers, because I love Marlon, I love Sean, and I love Keenan Ivory Wayans, and I love Damian Wayans. I love all of the Wayans brothers, but I have to say Jim Carrey, he was a breakout person of that. And I heard that Jim Carrey was supposed to be in SNL, Saturday Night Live. And I heard that he did the audition, and I heard that they didn't really care for him. I thought that was funny, because I'm like, really? Because he did freaking awesome and great on SNL. But he did end up coming out for one sketch back in the 90s, I think, late 90s or early 2000s. And he did the, you ever see that skit on SNL where Night at Roxbury, where he goes like this? Well, he was on that skit. So, but of course he came later on to do more, but he wasn't the mainstay on SNL. But majority of his movies, awesome. I have to say, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, my favorite movie with him. I have to say, the second one is. The first one's okay. The first one I remember watching when I was a kid. I remember watching The Mask when I was a kid, and I remember watching Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 2. I noticed that he actually said that he didn't want to do a sequel after that because he didn't think it was as good as the first one. I think he did better because it wasn't just in one little area. It was in the woods, and he had to figure out some things. And I like the beginning part where he's in like this. Was it the beginning? I don't think so. Well, I like one of the scenes while he was in like a rhino, but it was a plastic rhino. He comes out naked, and the kids are like, "Mama, what the hell's that?" Well, they didn't say what the hell, but what is that? He can do his face is weird and everything, and he can pretend like he's Clint Eastwood. He's a riot. So that's my third pick. So let's move on to my second pick. My second pick, what can I say? It's Adam Sandler. Another comedian, but it's fine. What can I say about Adam Sandler, though? He's my favorite comedian. I watch so many of his movies over and over again. Yes, even the crappy ones. That's true. I would watch any of his movies over again. Maybe some of them, not so many times. Maybe Jack and Jill, maybe like a little tiny bit. I mean, I would watch that movie again recently. I would watch it again. Not because it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'd seen it in theaters when it first came out. Yes, I do see the criticisms of that movie. I know that he does both Jack and Jill, and I do see the criticisms, and I do see the criticisms for a lot of his movies recently, except for one movie that people have always have been raving about, which is A Serious Take. I'm trying to remember the name. See, it's the thing is, I actually haven't seen the new one, and I want to watch it, but I had anxiety, so I don't think I'm going to watch this, because I heard that basically it's a anxiety thrill ride movie, and it's like Diamond. I can't remember the name. No, not Sandy. I can't remember the name, but you can leave the comments down below. Tell me if you guys enjoy this video, and also please leave a comment down below on what you want me to actually review, and I will. Please, I really appreciate that. Please leave a like and also comment, subscribe too. And this is going to be my main channel. I will not focus on my second or my Twitch channel anymore. And I'm just telling you guys this, so you guys know. So let's continue on talking about Adam Sandler. To me, he cannot make a bad movie. Yes, some probably wouldn't watch again for a long time, and yes, there's some movies I haven't watched with him. Obviously, Reign Over Me. I think I might have watched it once. I just watched Don't Mess with the Zohan the other night with my wife, and she's like, "What the heck did I just watch?" She's like, "I don't think I'd ever watch that again." I'm like, "It's crazy," because he has like superpowers and stuff. He was on SNL also. He was like, but he got fired after a while. Him and some other guys, even Chris Farley with him. If I made it to a top 10 list, Chris Farley would be on this list, definitely. Chris Farley was a great actor before he passed away. But that's for another video. I might do an actual video about him specifically later on. Sorry, guys. So he's formed friendships with basically everybody. Majority of the people that actually came from SNL. Rob Schneider, David Spade, Farley, but Chris Farley passed. Chris Farley was in a movie with him. Obviously, Billy Madison, as you guys know, he played the bus driver. He's lasted. He's had a lot. In Grown Ups, I noticed that people don't really care for Grown Ups either, because they think he's just a skate. It's like a excuse for him to be with his friends, and I can see that. But there are a lot of good actors in that movie, and I think Kevin James. Some of his movies I don't really care for. Actually, majority of them I don't really care for, but he acts good with Adam Sandler, I think. There's some movies with Adam Sandler that don't age well today, like I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, but I'd watch that. I just watched that kind of recently with my wife. She also loves that one. But, I mean, it wouldn't fly with today's culture, and I can see that. Back in the late 2000s, well, it was kind of relevant, but it wasn't as relevant as today, if that makes sense. But I love Adam Sandler, and he's my favorite comedian of all time. Hands down, he will always be my favorite comedian. But as for number one is, okay, this guy needs no introduction. It's Al Pacino. Al Pacino is my first pick. My number one, greatest of all time actor. And as you can tell, he does play in some comedies. He played in the Adam Sandler movie Jack and Jill, which is at the end. I don't even think he was on script. I think he actually said burn this movie on purpose, because he's like, I don't want this movie to even see the light of day. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But I didn't even watch that movie again just because that's how much I love Adam Sandler, and I would watch any of his crappy movies. But as for Al Pacino, so Al Pacino is my favorite actor of all time, and that will never change. I said that. The man's the best, and I have almost all of his movies, just not the new ones. I haven't seen any of the new ones. Like, I haven't seen the movie that came out recently, Italian. What the hell is it called again? Irishman. Sorry, I haven't seen the new movie called The Irishman. I kind of found out recently. Well, no, hold on. Before I get into that one, so The Irishman is like 3 hours long, or 3 or 4 hours, 3 or something hours long. I don't feel like sitting down for 3 hours long and just watch. I love Martin Scorsese. Actually, I might do a top 5 favorite directors of all time too. But Martin Scorsese might be in my top 5. I don't know. I love a lot of his movies. I love mafia movies, period. But I don't think I would watch. Maybe I will watch it one time. I was looking forward to it to come out, and I never got to watch it. I still could watch it, but again, I don't want to sit down for 3 hours and watch it. No offense. When I get a time where I'm like, I really want to watch a movie, and I really want to watch a mafia-filled movie, I know the plot already. I've heard about it, so there's really no need for me to actually watch it yet until I actually get in the mood to do it. But the man's the best, and I have almost all of his movies, which is true. I do own a lot of his old movies. Walking Needle Park is his first picture. He plays a drug addict, and he dies at the end. That's the very first movie he plays in. Way back in like the early 70s or late 60s. I can't remember what year it came out. And Serpico was the second one. I know a lot about Al Pacino because I used to devote my life to watching his movies, which is a weird thing to actually say, but it's true. He's just a really awesome actor. My favorite movie with him is the Godfather series. Well, it has to be 1 and 2 actually. I did like 3 for a while, and 3 was up there on the pedestal, but 3, it kind of went downhill for me after a while. 1 is like the best because it explains that he came from the war. Al Pacino's character, Michael. I still remember his name, even though I haven't seen the movie in like years. I haven't seen the movie since probably 10 or 12 years ago. I haven't seen the movie in a while. But he comes back from the military, and his father doesn't want him in the mafia, but all of his brothers are in the mafia. But his father ends up dying, and he takes on his mantle of being the top person and of the mafia. His father's part of the mafia, the Don. But his other brother ends up dying, gets shot multiple times, which is perfectly played by James Caan back when he was really young. As for the second movie has some awesome story, an awesome story too, and the second one basically puts Al Pacino's character Michael on this like trial, because in the last movie what he did, well, and supposedly he killed people because he also shot a cop in the last movie. But he's a big mafia guy. He sits there and he listens, and it's basically what his perspective is standing in this trial, and his father, goes to another area where his father is younger, and when his father was younger, coming from Sicily, his father when he was a young kid, he grew up with learning about the mafia and knowing about them, and it's hard to explain because in the second one, it's the majority of when he goes back is in Italian. So he ends up going to the U.S., the United States, to New York, and he comes off the ship and he has some sort of disease, but supposedly the disease goes away because he lives into the first movie. I want to explain all these because I love this movie so much. So he grows up and becomes. So he grows up, and the actor is Robert De Niro plays the grown-up version of, not the old version, but the grown-up version of Michael's father. So he ends up getting into the military, not military. He ends up getting into the mafia, and basically that's how he becomes the Don. Basically, it tells you a story of how Al Pacino. It tells you a story about the first, how he got there in the first movie. It tells you the steps that he took. I mean, you gotta watch them. They're really awesome movies. The third one, it's okay. Al Pacino is old. Of course, now he's still alive. He's 80 now, and I didn't even know that. He's getting up there in age. But I can't believe that. I really can't, because I looked it up last night. But he's old in this one, and his daughter is played by the actual director himself, his daughter, and Sophia Copeland. I think her name is. Well, she's a terrible actress, and I noticed that, and she ends up falling in love with her cousin, which is weird, and maybe that's what they did back in Sicily, or maybe that's how some mafia people, not mafia. No offense to Italian people. I have a little tiny bit of Italian in me. Actually, my percentage is like 20% something Italian. Majority is Irish and Scottish and Welsh. But it's a good movie all in all. But he ends up dying at the end. Al Pacino, his character. And if they would have continued it, I probably wouldn't have watched the fourth one, because with Al Pacino, I don't think it would be a good movie, because Al Pacino just, if he wasn't a part of the third or second one, and some other actors were, and you would have focused on another clan, Italian clan, I probably would have just checked it out. But if he wasn't a part of those ones, I probably wouldn't have, because he just brings his personality, and he develops his roles. He gets into his roles because he likes theater. But I also like this is the last one with him. I really like a lot, which is Scarface, and I mean that movie is a perfect. Because I know that that's not the original movie. That's basically I know that's not the Scarface movie. I know there's another Scarface movie that was back in the 50s, but this remake is so much. I know it doesn't focus on mafia, and the original did. The original focused on the mafia, and and the original focused on things, but this one focuses on a drug lord and the 80s, because that's basically when that started happening. And so Al Pacino becomes a really big drug lord, and Michelle Pfeiffer plays in it. She's awesome in this movie. I love her in Catwoman. Well, I love her as Catwoman, I should say, in Tim Burton's second movie. I can't remember the name of it. Batman Returns, I think. But she's great in this movie. But she's a coke addict, and he's a coke addict too. When he gets worse, and you guys gotta watch all these movies with him. I mean, he, like I said before, when he goes into a role, he goes into a role, and I believe him. I believe him. So that's basically it. I can do any movie review you guys want, but please know that I do have bad anxiety. So some horror movies I'm probably not going to be able to watch, or I'm going to try to watch for you guys if you guys want me to watch some horror movies to do reviews on. I can still watch Chucky. I tell you what though, I don't like the new Chucky movie. I'm sorry for the majority of you guys that do. It's not because of the direction. I mean, it is because of the direction, but it's not because of. It isn't because Mark Hamill, or it isn't because Don Mancini isn't back. It's not the reason. The reason why is because of body horror, and I can't do body horror. And I watched that movie, and I'm like, what the hell? But and other than that, guys, if you guys want me to watch anything, which is action or comedies, and do a review on them, I will. I'll write out something like this, and that's basically it for this video. Thank you for joining me, and please comment, and subscribe, like I said. And also, yeah, this is my first real video on my top 5 favorite actors of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed, and be safe. See you guys in the next video. Bye.